A classified report concluded with low confidence that the COVID-19 pandemic likely originated from a laboratory leak in China. That's what two sources told NBC News. The report says the laboratory leak was an accident. The source said that report is not considered significant because the intelligence community still disagrees over COVID's origins. China has denied that COVID originated from a laboratory leak, having previously called this theory a conspiracy.
We want to bring in Dr. Payal Kohli to talk, and I'm so glad you're here because a lot of confusion, right? It's like we were talking about potentially a lab leak in China. They got a lot of flack for it, and then that was dismissed. Now we're talking about it again. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, this is the process of science out in the open. So initially, the evidence really pointed against natural origins, from the bat in a Wuhan market. But more recently, evidence has emerged that's making some intelligence agencies at least look into the possibility that it may have originated from a lab leak. So we have the Department of Energy saying with low confidence, and the FBI saying with medium confidence. Now, there's still many agencies that very strongly believe that it was actually a natural origin of the virus. But this is us kind of looking at the origins, which helps us understand, I guess, what went wrong and what we can do better next time.
It's very political. Just like vaccines, just like everything, it's become so political. So if we could push the politics aside from this, it is important, right, that we figure out scientifically how something like this happens, because look what we just lived through for the last 3 years.
Critically important. And in fact, that is the reason that I believe it's important to keep pursuing this, to try to understand where it came from. Because if it was a lab leak, then we're talking about improved biosecurity measures, right? We need to do better with these types of labs so that we don't expose populations to this type of risk. On the other hand, if it was natural evolution, we need to work on our pandemic response measures, because then we need to understand how viruses like this emerge and how we can be prepared for them.
And I'm curious, medically, for all of us, like, what is the difference between if this did, originate from a lab leak or potentially a virus genetically engineered for bioterrorism?
I think a huge difference. So a genetically engineered virus is something that is being designed to be very effective and efficient at spreading from human being to human being, as opposed to a lab leak, which is more of an accident. There's nothing nefarious there. They were studying something and somehow they didn't follow good protection protocols and it leaked out. So I think both of those have an intention associated with them. One thing that many of us in the scientific community sort of agree on, we don't believe that this was a weapon of bioterrorism. There are some intelligence agencies that are not sure whether it was genetically engineered or not. So most of them saying probably not, but some saying that we don't yet know. We need more information. But the one thing that's making it difficult to understand all this is that the Chinese officials have not been cooperating.
Right, yeah. And that just adds to all the conspiracy stuff. So Dr. Fauci, where does he land on this, just quickly?
Dr. Fauci is telling us to keep an open mind, which I think is always good, sage advice. But I would take it one step further and say not only do we need to keep an open mind, we need to ask for answers. Yeah. And as an American, as a physician, and as a scientist, I am looking for an answer as to know what happened so that I can protect myself and my family.
Yeah.
And if it was a mistake, we got to prevent it so it doesn't happen again.
I know. We all thought this was some bad Hollywood movie, 3 years ago, and no. Okay. All right. You take care of that science stuff for us, Dr. Kohli, but we appreciate you explaining it to us. Thanks so much.
We'll be right back.